Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and I had to make this video because there's a few things I need to get off my chest, and I thought that, well, I'll just tell you. One thing that is just particularly just eating at me is the whole idea of not being able to be mad, because as a black woman, being mad automatically put you into a category of being angry, an angry black woman. And I had I made a video about this about a year ago, about having experiences with my friends, my male friends treating me like an angry black woman, and what that meant to me. And so with Solange dropping the absolute beautifulness of her album, A Seat at the Table, and particularly with the song on there saying, titled Mad, featuring Lil Wayne, that she's going through the whole thing asking, people ask you why you gotta always be so mad, and it's like, I got a lot to be mad about, but that's natural. Being mad is an emotion, mad is an emotion, just like angry, but it's something that should not be used to describe people unless they're always angry, but I certainly am not, but I definitely was mad. More like vexed. I think vexed is a good word. The past week, and for two reasons. And let me tell you what those two things are. So one, there was an incident in my classroom where, not technically in my classroom, but one of my students was arrested after my class, and I was there and I witnessed it, and I just didn't know what to do, and that really angered me and rattled me because I had never personally seen someone get handcuffed and arrested, and particularly not in a school building after my class and it be one of my students, and see them being taken out of my classroom in handcuffs was very jarring, especially when I was not given any information on what was happening, at which I think most people could understand it can be very rattling, especially if you're in an educational environment. It's not like I was on the street. If I was on the street, it's one thing. But I was just coming out of my class. I teach criminology classes. So the irony of it was not lost on me that this student was coming from a criminology class and was approached by 4 police officers that I didn't know if they were campus police or the town's police force, but they didn't identify themselves, and maybe they did when they took him inside the classroom for privacy, but I didn't know what was going on, where I stood on this, and so I was really just pissed off because I didn't like feeling uncomfortable, and especially I didn't like the idea of not knowing. I don't like being uninformed, especially when it comes to my class and the place where I work. And so, for different scenarios, he could have been arrested for a violent offense or for threatening another professor, and I'm just sitting here like la-di-da-di-da, not knowing that, there's a possible violent offender in my classroom. He could have been the Unabomber. The student could have been a Unabomber, and they're just allowing me to be in the classroom when they're at the same time also telling us to be hypervigilant and to be aware of possible shooting incidents on campus and what to do. So I just didn't like not knowing. Also, I didn't know if this was protocol, if this is what they can do, that they can actually arrest students coming from their class in not even a dorm, but in a class building where there's classes in progress. And so that kind of stuff just threw me off. And then I got no kind of information until today. So after I said a couple of things, I got an email from a sergeant in the campus police telling me that she would want to talk to me and, discuss the incident, which I wasn't quite sure how that was going to go. And I was still pretty mad over the weekend, but thankfully she came in respectfully and calmly. And so I responded to her in kind. Because I didn't feel respected when they just took my student who was going to office hours with me to discuss actual material discussed in my criminology class. And so I did appreciate that from the police sergeant, and that I did get a better understanding of how things work around here. And so now I know if that ever happens again, God forbid, that I will be following my student until they are safely, in a police car or whatever, because I do have the right to be informed, and I just have the right because it's a public building and I am the professor of the class and this is one of my students, and just as a American citizen, I have the right to at least question the police force, and especially when they're arresting one of my students. So now I know that I can't expect my head of my department or the dean's office or anybody to inform me about stuff like that, that if I want to get answers, I'm going to have to go get them myself. And so that is what happened, and I'm happy that the sergeant let me know that if I had any other questions, I can ask her at any time. So that just absolutely made me feel better about that situation, because the student was literally arrested, handcuffed in the classroom that I teach in 4 times a week. So that was kind of messed up. The second thing that kind of really, so I'm going from vexed to just pissed off, and so I'm not even angry or mad, I'm just pissed off. So